Hello, everybody. This is Nicole with Live with eCom Sellers. This is the Print on Demand Challenge, day 59. We have one more day. So today we're going to do a review of several things. Yesterday we did an initial start of the review, and we covered the initial, the beginning of this journey. So now we're going to go through some of the things that I've trained you or taught you about as a recap, because sometimes just going through it makes it easier to recall, easier to do. And it doesn't feel all chopped up because this has been broken up into several mini pieces. So with that, we're just going to go ahead and get started. About me, I don't know that that's important. I created eCom Sellers. I am the founder, co-founder of eCom Sellers, but I'm the creator of it for sure. And sometimes I'm the sole runner, but that's all right. A business partner is a silent business partner. So I've been selling online since 2014, selling offline since 2008. I'm the mom of 2 special needs kids, and I'm also the VP of a nonprofit. So this particular workshop is being taught from pretty much from a new seller perspective, although if you have some experience, like there may be a couple of tips that might be helpful in here. So we're going to go through print on demand from soup to nuts pretty much. And I am going to bypass a few of these things. The one thing I do want you to keep in mind on this entire journey is that the decisions that you make in your business are yours. I'm just here to be a guide, a help, a sounding board. And if at any time on your e-commerce journey that you need some help, some support, some guidance, you're definitely welcome to schedule a free 20-minute coaching session with me. Heck, if you want to schedule 2 or 3 20-minute coaching sessions, that's fine. Go ahead. I will be there for you. I will answer your questions. I will support you along this journey. So let's get into it. So print on demand is the concept of print on demand is taking or creating a design and putting it on something. When we start on this journey, we're putting it on a document. So it's a downloadable PDF, or putting it on flashcards, or, putting it on a, oh, okay. Somebody just came up the stairs. Putting it on an Avery form, specific form layout, or it's putting it on another product, like putting it on a t-shirt, socks, whatever. And print on demand can also include producing your own book. So it's basically, in most cases, but not all, it is something that is produced or made available when somebody buys it. Now, some of the stuff that you produce in advance, like the downloadable PDFs, you've already created that. So it's not necessarily right then that you're creating it, but they get it at that moment that they buy it. So that's, in essence, print on demand. And why you should do print on demand, this is what I will say. I feel like it is a simple business, even though I say easy setup. Yeah, it is easy to get started, but the ongoing work that's involved in any method of e-commerce is not easy. It does require work. There's work involved. You can decide how much or how little time you want to invest in it, but it is work. There's low cost to get started, very much so. And the majority of the time in this entire workshop series, I've tried to make sure that I find low cost or no cost ways of doing this business so you don't have to spend a lot of money. That's ultimately been my goal. I believe that that's the best way to get started doing anything, is then that way that either validates or confirms that this is for you or not for you. If you've got to start a business and you got to spend $5,000 to get started, I'm going to say, if you got $5,000 to invest to do it, are you okay with not moving forward and investing the $5,000? So there are people that will invest a lot of money in courses and don't ever do anything with them. If you're going to spend $5,000 on something, you got to do something with it. So I think just getting familiar with the processes that are part of the print on demand world, I think is extremely important. And then you can decide if this is for you. Just like when we were all in elementary school and maybe somebody wanted to try the trombone or they wanted to take ballet, like, okay, your parents invested all that money in them shoes, that little skirt, the little leotards, all of that, only for you to say, no, I want to now play softball. It's like, okay. So if it's not for you, you didn't spend a lot of money, then it's good. But if it is for you, now you can be in a position where you spend a little bit more money if it is for you. So there's, no inventory management. It's easy to scale, and you can test all types of products. You can test all types of designs. That's the great thing about print on demand. So getting started, this whole print on demand journey, we did an overview for day one. We talked about the different sessions and when we were going to have sessions that were longer than an hour. I will tell you, honestly, when you go back and watch this, there's several sessions that were over 45 minutes to an hour. So I apologize for that in advance. It wasn't just 4. And yesterday was another one of those. Creating your Etsy account. If you still haven't done that, there's still time to do that. And then starting with some of the basics, creating your designs on Canva. And a design does not have to be like something that is dramatic. And I hope that I've been able to reveal that throughout this journey. And using tools like eRank, or just using free tools that are out there in the universe to kind of give you an idea of what you could potentially be selling and how to use those tools to help you with keyword research. The other thing is order fulfillment. So we've talked about the different ways in which you do order fulfillment. One is if you do downloadable PDFs, it's self-service. The customer buys, the email is automatically sent to them. They get the document, it's done. If you decide that you're going to do an integration with a company like Printful, Printify, T-Launch, any of those, then when the customer buys, then the product is automatically, notifications automatically are sent over to the provider, and that product is produced and shipped to the customer, again, hands off. It's same thing with books. So again, you create the entire book and the contents, and then your customer, once they purchase the item, they will get the entire book shipped to them, printed and shipped to them. And I did encourage you to establish some goals on this journey. So go back and listen to those sessions around establishing some goals. You should have some milestone goals, even if it's every 2 weeks, just to kind of see where you are, even once a week. Go set some goals so that you can ultimately reach what your vision is. And what I will say with that, just as a side note, it doesn't have to be everything in your vision. You can take on one piece at a time of your vision, execute that well, or execute it, and then get better at it, and spend a month or so kind of stabilizing it, and then take on another piece of your vision, another piece of the bubble. So it doesn't have to be all at once. We've covered so many different things: product research, keyword research, and we've done that throughout the sessions, in addition to creating your listing, optimizing your listing, things that you need to do, how to create a product. I've gone through several of those exercises. I'm just creating a product using Canva. And then we talked about some selling strategies and different platforms you can list your products on. And I don't know if we ever went through the Etsy reports, but if we did, we'll do it tomorrow. And and I just take that is to always create a new design. So if you decide you're going to go back and do the print on demand challenge, because you have lifetime access to this, and if we ever teach it again in this model, which is print on demand with Etsy and Canva, then you are welcome to take it, and it's absolutely no charge. When we have the print on demand with Shopify, that's a different course, and so it's not free, but you're welcome to join us in that course. So what I want to encourage you to do is, if you go back, I challenge you to create a new design every single day for 60 days. You can do that. Or just do it for 30, building the habit of consistency, which is what I was talking about yesterday. You got to get that foundation going first before you try to do anything else. Before you do anything else, you got to build that. So using social signals, sharing your listings across different platforms and other social media sites, things like that. Trying to get organic traffic, getting better at your keyword research, your titles, the tags that go with your listings on Etsy. Checking on or following the order fulfillment process all the way through. When you're doing downloadable printables, that order fulfillment is done. As long as the person receives the email, they're good to go. But the others, you want to just double check to make sure that there's not anything going on with your print on demand provider, because just know that sometimes technology works against us. It just does. It's not always perfect. And providing customer service, making sure that you know what your game plan is. Like if somebody wants to return a shirt, thinking about that, looking at other return policies and trying to build yours, deciding how you want to handle it. Also communicating with your print on demand provider to decide Like, okay, this person wants to return. I can return it back to you. Yes, no. Because a lot of the print on demand providers will allow you to return it back to them. But again, you have to have that conversation. So as you decide which print on demand providers you want to work with, make sure you contact their customer service, ask that question, put that on your list so that you know what to do with it. Or are you going to receive it back yourself at your address? And are you going to relist it just so somebody can buy it and you can do merchant fulfill? You decide what your process is going to be, but that's on you. But decide what you're going to do from a customer service standpoint. How are you going to resolve issues? How are you going to handle, reviews? What if your print on demand provider, you chose one and the yellow looks green? Like, that's not good. So how are you going to address the concerns and issues? And you need to have a game plan ready for that, because that's the one thing about print on demand when it is truly printed on demand, is that you have zero control over the quality. All you can do is select the print on demand provider that you feel is best for you. And then if for some reason that day their dye is off, then their dye is off. And you can tell them, look, I got a shirt, it's supposed to be yellow. It looks green. Here's a picture. And let them respond to you. Okay. So getting started, in the early stages, the thing that you want to do as you start on this journey of figuring out print on demand, and this is starting with any method of print on demand, is you have to do some research and do some research around whatever your niche is. So being able to do keyword research, what's in demand, what's of interest, or what is the thing that you're passionate about, then choosing a niche and which products are you going to put this particular product design on. So are you going to be generic and just do anybody and everybody and say, I'm just going to do all clothing? Or are you going to say, you know what, I'm going to focus on kids, or I'm going to focus on adults, or I'm going to focus on seniors, or I'm going to focus on those with special needs, or those that are interested in supporting the special needs community. I'm going to create designs to support that. So you got to decide what you're going to do. Now, are you going to do t-shirts? You're going to do bags? What are you going to do? Are you going to do pictures? Or, are you going to do footballs? Or are you just going to do documents? You decide. Then the next one is get your designs, or, create your designs, get your designs ready. So you've got to, your website could be Etsy, and that's where we started on our journey, but it doesn't always have to be Etsy. You don't have to stay on Etsy forever. You can decide if you're going to create your own Shopify store or create your own other front end store, and that's fine. You can decide you're going to do Facebook shops or Instagram shops. It's your call. Nobody's controlling. You get to decide, and you can start off with Etsy and expand out. So, putting together your game plan. I feel like number one really should be planning, but anyway, we are where we are. And then, create your designs, get your designs ready, and create your designs. And your designs don't have to be full-fledged designs. Just remember that. It could be words. We've seen so many different designs where they just use like Times Roman font, and they put a period on the end of whatever the phrase was, and it was printed on a tan shirt with white letters. That's not a fancy design. There's nothing elaborate about that. It could be something as simple as putting a light bulb on a shirt. That's your design. So it doesn't have to be anything elaborate, complex, multicolored, extravagant. It doesn't have to be anything. It can be very simplistic. And then choose your print on demand provider. Who are you wanting to test with? Who do you want to get samples from? Who do you want to try? Who have you looked at that has some good reviews out there in the universe? Once you've decided on that print on demand provider and you've researched them and you're comfortable with their fees, you understand what you're going to be, what your royalty, your portion, how much you're going to make is, then go for it. Add your product to their site, and then that way people can buy it. There are some print on demand providers where you actually can upload your specific design and sell your products on their site. You can also sell your products directly on Etsy, and you can share your products out in the social media stratosphere. So don't overlook Pinterest when you do that. You can also promote it on your own store, as I mentioned before, or an existing platform. So you can put your print on demand designs on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace. So as part of that getting started, we have 4 different stages of this journey. We have the first stage is the printable, downloadable. We did that for 2 weeks, and then we moved on to enhancements to the printable and downloadable. But as part of that, we learned a couple more features within Canva, a couple more features within the Canva tool, how we can create our covers, and then learning about print on demand providers. Then and then we do that for 2 weeks. Then the stage 3 is actually testing out some of those print on demand providers. As we did our downloadable, we could take some of those designs and put them on a specific product, item, whatever, and learn more about the book providers. And then stage 4 is like preparing for our journey for books. So that was, that's in essence how we got started on this journey. Some of the simple print on demand ideas. We talked about blank sheets, flashcards, note cards, scriptures, different. You can put it on objects, recipe cards, talking about people. So I think what I did was, or I had my son do, was like careers, like, this person's a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, or whatever, construction worker. So creating those types of flashcards. And then you got affirmations, inspirational, helpful cards. So think about this. The community is aging. I am in that group that is aging. And so as people get older, there are things that they're going to need to be able to do or see, especially if they're trying to live independently. So what kind of helpful tools or helpful cards could you put together that might help them, that they can use around the house? That is one of those things that you can think about. Or those people with special needs kids that are going to become adults. Again, helpful cards, helpful things. That's the thing that I'm doing with my son now, is we're setting up the house so that way he can learn independence on his own, and he doesn't have to be directed all the time on what he needs to do. He needs to be able to figure some of this stuff out. He needs to know how to make bacon and how to, fix himself something to eat, like all of these things. He needs to be able to do it when nobody is looking, so that he has the capacity to be able to do it. We can look around the corner if we want to, but you get what I'm saying. And, planner pages, journal pages. So these are all simple printable ideas that you can create. And then as you progress from the simple print ideas, then this is a list of all the other things that you can put your amazing designs and or ideas on. Water bottles, cards, notebooks, coffee mugs, t-shirts, phone cases, device covers like laptop covers, things like that. So shoes, blankets, all of these are options, and there's so many more. This is not the be all end all list. So you can go back and go look at some of those. So what I would encourage you to do, long-term, bigger picture, as you continue on this journey, is, when you get to a place where you're more comfortable with creating products with designs on them, make sure that you create products that you don't add more than 5 color variants to your product. So 2 or 3, you'll find, and this is what I would encourage you to do, reverse engineering other existing listings, especially top selling listings, is good. Go look at them. How many colors are they offering? Meaning, I'm going to sell it in a blue shirt and a black shirt and a white shirt and a red shirt and a green shirt, and that's it. So how many colors are they offering? Look at the titles, look at the tags that they have in their listing. These are all things that can help you get better at this over time. I will continue to say, we are not taking anybody else's idea. We're not stealing their idea. We're being inspired by it. We're getting ideas. We're allowing it to help trigger thoughts within us. And we're making notes of those thoughts. Always keep track of your thoughts, because you will have a lot of them. A lot of them. Don't lose them. Use the thought bubbles that are inside of the mind mapping tools that we talked about to be able to track all of that so you don't lose them. So check your print provider options by selling, before selling internationally. See if they do fulfill orders internationally. Not all of them will, so be mindful of that. Make sure you have a credit card or money set aside just in case you need to be able to buy your products directly. Avoid copyrights and check to see if your written phrase is trademarked. Keep that in mind. Yes, please go check that. Have lifestyle images of your products. Don't just do general mock-ups. So you have, we use the example of the coffee mug. So you have a coffee mug that's by itself with a completely white background. Well, it may not make sense to have a white background if the coffee mug is white. So you might choose a different background for the coffee mug, something to think about. The other thing is, having a picture of the coffee mug or somebody is holding it, maybe in a kitchen and they're staring off into space, or maybe you don't get their face at all. You just get the chin. Because I like to just get the chin, don't get the face. And then also having that coffee mug sitting on a table next to food. So those are all like ideas about the specific coffee mug. And then if you decide you want to sell bundles, that coffee mug sitting next to the thing that you want to bundle with it. Maybe there's a stir stick you want to add. Maybe there's something else that you want to include with that coffee mug. Maybe there's a t-shirt that talks about I'm not a morning person. A coffee mug matches and says I'm not a morning person. There's a hat and socks that go with it. Like, always be thinking about your order value. Don't just opt for selling t-shirts. We've talked about that. There's so many different options available. Check to see if your design is can be printed on another product. More than likely, 99% of the time it can be. Add scarcity, but not up to every product. So sometimes you want to say this is available for a limited time. That may make sense if you're doing, some designs related to Easter, or some designs related to Christmas or Halloween or something like that, like it's available for a limited time, or the everyday is a holiday. I do want to encourage you, if you don't have a My eCom planner, to go get one, or at least download the digital and take advantage of all of those holiday dates. That's just extra income that you could use just by changing the colors of your shirt or hat or mug or whatever, or adding like an additional design to it. Like today, I believe, is National Friendship Day. I'm pretty sure it is. And so, what if you had an idea where two people's hands were shaking as if, like somebody's doing a handshake? Just adding that to an existing design actually changes it. It's a brand new listing. So be thinking about those ideas and say this may be available for a limited time. Check to see if the niche is banned on Facebook. Yeah, probably. Like if you avoid cuss words, it's a good thing, gives you link juice. But the other thing, feedback, maybe you do need to change something. Maybe you have spell check. Today was a perfect example of spell check. I was like, I don't know if my VAs are reading any of this stuff. So just some of the stuff that they were doing for the summit, I was like, you can read this. So yeah, having somebody else read it, they'll catch some stuff that maybe you didn't think of, or maybe it's like, no, say it this way. And that could be helpful. Always, and then other things like using Google to help you. So ways to increase your sales, test your idea first. I will tell you, more than likely, 80% of the designs that you create may not sell, or they may only have 1 or 2 sales. 20% may sell. So you just need to be prepared for that, that it may be an 80-20 kind of situation. And it's okay, because that's not uncommon. Now, is it acceptable? No, most people don't want to spend time creating designs that don't make them money. But all those designs that you created that didn't make you money, you can always spruce them up, tune them up, change them a little bit, put it in a different font. So it's not for nothing. You can reuse it or repurpose it for something else. So think about that. All the ones that didn't make you money, clone it and make a brand new product out of it. Okay. Monetize your audience that you built, if that makes sense. I mean, if you've got a Facebook group that you've created that's focused on your specific niche, and they really like, whatever it happens to be. There's a group of people who really love soy candles. So if you have a soy candle Facebook group, of course, you're going to put your product in that Facebook group from time to time. This may be an opportunity. I will tell you that building a Facebook group can actually help you build a better product over time, because then you can get beta testers to take a look at whatever your product is. And that's not a bad thing, to have beta testers go through and look at your product. So keep that in mind as well, that there may be an opportunity to start building a Facebook group of other like-minded individuals that are passionate about whatever your niche is. And then, you can use tools like Later to schedule posts in that Facebook group. You can put polls in that Facebook group, and then people can share their own thoughts and ideas about whatever it is. So, if you created a Facebook group of people who love related scriptures, that Facebook group will grow organically on its own. And then you can do something with that, occasionally dropping your designs and products into that Facebook group and sharing, hey, I just created this new design. What do you think? Passively or aggressively, your call. Easily print. Oh, hold on. Monetize. Create original products for your niche. Absolutely. Easily print one-off items. Like I said, you could take the things of the 80 that's not selling and then repurpose them for something else. Show them in a different light, add like another, I don't know, element to the image, just one element of like a rose or a butterfly. And you could say this item is for National Butterfly Day, if there is one. I don't know if there is or not, but you get the idea. And then, sell photos online. So if you can, if you are a person that, you've created some really great designs, you can put your designs up on other platforms. But if some of your designs are photo related, then there are other sites in which they'll accept your pictures, and you can get paid for those pictures that you take, for those people that like to take a lot of pictures. So print on demand mistakes, not buying from reputable sellers or vendors, not talking to your suppliers. Definitely talk to your suppliers as you get closer and closer to Q4. Like, start having that conversation if you settled into 2 suppliers that you like, print on demand suppliers, or 3. Send them a message. Ask them if they're going to have any live Q&A sessions to help people get ready for Q4. Most of the time, the vendors are going to do something like that. That's pretty common. And if they are, make sure you register for it. But if they're not, then send them your list of questions and or concerns. Like, are you guys prepared to handle the increased volume? Is there going to be an increase in shipping? How are you guys handling returns this Q4? Like, ask them a series of questions so that way you're not caught off guard and you already know what to do with what. The other thing is that having those answers can help your VA, because ultimately at the end of the day, we do want to get to a place where we outsource, and your VA being able to go through that and be able to handle stuff without you and without intervention is going to be a good thing. So that way you can focus on the things that make you the most money. The other thing is, one of the mistakes is going after bestsellers all the time. Another was creating a general store and selling everything. I would encourage you, niche down, decide what it's going to be, what your store is going to be. And then the last one, not focusing on repeat customers. That is an opportunity. Trust me, as a person that sells, I have dropped the ball on that many a time because I'm only one person and I get it. But where you can set automation in place so you don't drop the ball on your repeat customers, do that, giving you the opportunity to get that potential repeat sale, or giving them a coupon code for like customer loyalty. So then that way they can, they'll come back and invite a friend, like give them a 5% discount for inviting a friend. So some of the suppliers, we're going to go through the suppliers, but this is a long list. And then some of the other tools that might be helpful to you. Adobe Spark, I recommended that, especially if you're going to create your own book, whether it's a low content book or whatnot. You definitely want to be able to use, sorry, not Adobe Spark, Adobe, but Adobe Spark you can do designs in, sorry. Adobe itself, if you're going to merge together PDFs, the great tool for that. There are also free tools online that will allow you to do the PDF. You just have to know what you're getting into, because sometimes they have bots attached to them and that can create its own challenge. Okay, I don't know what my son just did. There's always something happening at my house. Okay. Canva, we've talked about that. PicMonkey is another one. BeFunky is another one. Stencil, Snappa, Creative Market, Creative Fabrica. That's another one that I don't have on here, but it should be. Upwork, all of these you can use to either help you acquire designs, create designs, build designs. Fiverr, Design Pickle, Floxy, Graphic Rhythm, all of those, again, to either create designs, build designs, whatever it happens to be. So on your print-on-demand journey, always order samples. Be strategic about your shipping. So decide if you're going to ship just US, or if you're going to expand to international, and then know, again, what your print on demand provider going to be able to do. Get your mock-ups of your products, find your niche. That's number one, really. Build an audience. I do encourage you to figure out how you want to build an audience. You can build an audience. There's so many different platforms now. Reddit, Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. Figure out how you can utilize any of the followers that you're getting organically. That can help you. So if you just want to do a Facebook page and an Instagram page, that may be it. TikTok, build an audience or build a following is probably the better way to say that. And create your own store. Again, your Etsy store is a store. You will have some limitations. You may have more freedom on your own Shopify store, but again, you have to deal with, there's some extra stuff that you have to deal with if you do your own Shopify store. So we looked at several print-on-demand providers. Printful was the one that we tested, or I suggested that you create an account to test with. That's the first one. Printify was another one. They're available globally. The thing is that they give you a pool of different providers to fill the order. So you need to be prepared for variation in quality. That's the thing that you need to be prepared for. Then Redbubble. If you like to create designs, if you're very talented and you're able to do that, that's fantastic. If you're not, you need to probably hire somebody to help you with creating some designs. Sellfy, again, they are, their software sometimes can be glitchy. I think that was the biggest thing. And they do have some limits on the free plan, but they do have a free plan. Guten, that is the one that I am going to be testing after the summit is, over. And I will let you know. Oh, no, Gelato. That's the one I'm testing. I'm testing Gelato. But going through that process of testing a provider. So sometimes the pricing is high. Or sometimes you don't get enough support on the marketing. Spring, formerly Teespring, they changed their name. So they have a limited number of products. There's lots of competition, but print on demand, there's always going to be competition. So here's the deal. Your thought bubble, your mind map could potentially become your endless moneymaker. So again, go through that exercise, do the mind mapping so you potentially can create an endless moneymaker for you. Print Aura, slow customer service response is something you need to be mindful of. And that's extremely important to know, that kind of stuff. Zazzle has a lot of products, and you can sell your products directly on Zazzle. There's a couple of them you can sell your products directly on, and you'll get paid if somebody takes your design and edits it, and you'll get a royalty fee on top of that. So that's pretty nice. Sunfrog says website is slow. I'm talking about the cons right now because that's like the fastest thing. The other stuff, like there's going to be some similarities on how you set up your account and how you use your account on all these platforms. There will be similarities. So just going through some of the cons. Spreadshirt. So you have to do your own advertising. But again, if you had your own Shopify store, you have to do your own advertising. So the thing you have to get better at is you got to get better at the keyword research, the tags, make sure you're creating good designs for sure. JetPrint, that one, yeah, at the time I was still researching, but they have over 300 products. I feel like JetPrint was the one that had the watches. Maybe I'm not right. And then Gelato was another one that I was researching, and that's the one I'm going to be testing. And then, of course, you always have merch by Amazon. You could always sell on merch by Amazon. Ink Threadable and T-Launch. There's so many others, and we ultimately will have a list in your back office. We're still working on that. And so I know without a shadow of a doubt, it will be done after the summit is over. I can't guarantee it will be 100% done before the summit's over. And I'm going to just apologize for that in advance, but you will get one. And I think that will be helpful as a reference for the different types of print-on-demand providers and what they offer, so that you at least have a tool to work with. And will it be 100%? Maybe not. I mean, it'll probably be at least a good 80%, I would think. So based on the research that my VAs are doing. So All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here, I think. Well, no, I'll go ahead and go through branding and then I'll stop. So branding, if you have a vision for your business and you know where you want it to go and what you want to do with it, long-term, bigger picture, then I would encourage you to decide that you're going to brand. That is so important. Think about your brand and think about your branding when you're thinking about your store. So an example, Nike is a brand. They sell all kind of products. T-shirts, socks, shoes, hats, jogging suits. They sell all kinds of stuff. They even have artwork, okay? You can get a Nike watch, I think. You can get all kinds of stuff. So when you're creating, and then you go to Nike, the website, the store, to buy. So the goal is for you to create a brand that, again, that you're going to be working with or that you'll have long term and that you're going to build something onto. But the only way you can get to that place where you potentially think, this is what I'm going to do, I want this, I want to build this, is go back to the mind mapping. Do the mind mapping exercise so that you can determine whether or not you feel like I can do something with this. This can be bigger than this one little, oh, I created a design with a cat on it. Okay. So when you're thinking about branding, ultimately, the name, the logo, those are all going to be important, and those are things you're going to have to create. You want a name that's memorable. You don't want it to be so long that people have a hard time remembering it. You want it to be something that people are passionate about, that they're interested in, and they know what it is. You know, when I think of gelato, I think of ice cream. I don't know why they named that gelato when it's a print on demand company. I'm not really sure how that makes me think of print on demand, because it does not. It makes me think of ice cream. But the point, and I will tell you, Italians will say gelato is not ice cream. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm sorry I disrespected you like that. But the point is, again, try to come up with a name that makes sense and look up related words. Use your thesaurus, because the thesaurus will be your best friend to help you potentially come up with related words. Go see if that domain's already taken. If it is, then, you know, like I said, there's a couple of domain generator websites that you could use. I think we emailed these out. They'll also be in your back office. And, you know, just do a little bit more research. Come up with related words, similar words that have similar meanings. Try to get the .com website, although .io is picking up like crazy. .net took off a few years ago. So, and sometimes .us comes up as a big one. When you're working on your branding, a couple of things you can use Canva if you have a paid account to help you with. They have a whole branding kit over there. You also have a couple of websites you can use to help you to create a logo. So create a logo for your brand, even if it's just the words. Because again, Nike's logo, there's the swoosh, and then there's the word Nike. Disney's logo, I mean, I guess it's the arch with the castle underneath it or whatever. But there's a lot of them, and that is just the words. There's no real logo to it. And then think about your colors. What are the colors that make sense for the brand that you're creating? What is the thing that you're going to focus 100% on, or that you're going to sell more of? And then go look at your competition. What are the colors that they're using? Go see what they got going on. Just be inspired by it. Do some reconnaissance, do some research. As you build out this business, and this can also apply to, you know, setting up your Etsy store. If you don't want things to come back to you, there are virtual mailboxes that are available. If you want a professional email account, not a Gmail account, then definitely buy a domain, and you can do redirecting. And you can have a phone number. Google Voice is absolutely free. I encourage you to set up that just in case your customer has questions, because they may contact you. And in your domain, you can decide which platform you want to buy your domain on. There's a lot of different choices. Hold on, I got a little ding. Is this telling me that we're done? Nope, we're still here. All right, I don't know what happened. Did I leave for a second? I must have left. All right, well, hopefully I caught most of that. All right, let me wrap up these last two. So branding, make sure you go out there and you acquire your social media assets throughout this training. Both Cassandra and Charlotte gave us the names of a couple of sites that you can use to find all your social media assets or see if they've already taken. At this very moment, the names of them do not come to mind. So if you guys want to unmute and say them, that's fine. Otherwise, it's to the recording.
Namecheck.com.
Okay. Thank you. But go
Another
get your
one was Name Checker.
name checker. There you go. Name check and namechecker.com. Or so go after, go look up those. And go acquire your social media assets and park it. And then last but not least, the name of your store. So make sure the name of your store is not more than 20 characters. Make sure there's no spaces, no punctuation, and make sure the name reflects what your products are. As we went back and we looked at Brooklyn Candle, that's what they were, Brooklyn Candle. And it was very straightforward, easy to remember. And it was memorable. Okay. Made me think of Brooklyn, New York, and that's exactly where they're based. So think about what your niche is going to be and then what it is that you ultimately are going to sell. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't sell other stuff, but if your main focus is that, then let that be your main focus. And come up with a name that is unique. Use the thesaurus. The thesaurus can give you all kinds of stuff. It can give you similar names and things like that. Make sure your name is easy to say. If you got some kind of complicated name that people have to figure out how to pronounce it, that's going to make it very hard for people to recommend you or to give you referrals or to say, you know, I was on, what's the name of that site again? Like all of us have had that moment where we just cannot even remember the name of the stupid website. So, so adapt your existing brand name for Etsy, you know, whatever you've already got set up. So with that, and if your shop is taken, the name that you want is already taken, the brand is already taken, especially if you've already trademarked it, then you can contact Etsy and they'll help you with that. So I hope this is helpful. We're going to continue from here on tomorrow so that we can wrap up the series. There are still a lot of things we're going to be putting in your back office, so don't let that deter you from taking action. Daily action is what really matters. So the last thing I will say is August the 1st is Monday. So I don't know when you're listening to this, whatever day you're listening to this. The 1st is always a good time to get started. If on the 2nd something comes up and you're not able to continue doing whatever, don't let that stop you. Come back to it on the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th or the 6th. Come back to it after whatever obstacle has passed. Things are going to happen. Life is going to happen. All kinds of stuff is going to happen in your life. Don't let that deter you. Continue to be in the pursuit of progress in this business. Continue to do that. If this is for you and this is the thing that you have a passion for it, then do this. These obstacles won't be there always. You have to figure out how to be consistent in the midst of it all. That's a great Yolanda Adams song. So figure out how to be consistent in the midst of it all. August the 1st is coming up. Work on your game plan. Put it together so that you know what you want to start with on August the 1st and then go after it with everything that you've got. Be consistent. You can start as little as 30 minutes every single day. At some later point, you can get up to an hour or 2 hours, but you can do that and just be consistent. So with that, we will see you on class 60 tomorrow. I'm going to say goodbye for now.